This video might change your life, and I'm not giving you a guarantee here, but I'm being honest. There are a lot of things about the world that go unspoken, that we don't know, things that may make us uncomfortable, but things that are true. And facts don't change based on our emotions. Well, my friend, I'm here to outline 5 uncomfortable truths that I've learned from personal experiences, truths that I've learned from books, the books that I've read, the books you see behind me, truths that I've learned from elders, people older than me, and from people that have gone through what I've gone through, their experiences. These are truths that are universal, truths that are experienced or observed around different cultures, throughout history, around different peoples. So my friend, before we get into this video, make sure you click like and subscribe below. It really helps the channel and it means the world to me. If you have any thoughts or any questions, make sure you comment it, because I promise you I will try and respond to your comments, or at least like it, or at least show that I saw your message. So make sure you go down if you want to get my attention, if you want to talk to me, if you want to say anything to me. You probably have your best bet in the YouTube comments below. The first uncomfortable truth I want you to understand about life is that life is a test of willpower. What do I mean? Willpower, the ability to delay gratification, resisting short-term urges and temptations in order to meet long-term goals. Life is about doing what is difficult now in order to live easy later. If you aim to lengthen your life or live a long, healthy life, you're gonna eat things that you don't like eating. Things like kale, things like broccoli, things like mushrooms or whatever. Maybe some people like mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Some people hate mushrooms, whatever. You're gonna have to do exercises that you may not like doing. You may have to jog daily or swim daily or do whatever. If you want to be a successful doctor and earn a lot of money, you're gonna have to go through years and years of grueling schoolwork. You're gonna have to go through the pain period that doctors had to go through. Life is a game that rewards the people that can delay what is easy to do what is difficult. If you can delay doing what is easy or what is like the low-hanging fruit in your life, and you can choose to do the difficult thing, sometimes in life you will grow way faster than you could have ever imagined doing the easy thing. Taking the path least followed takes a lot of strength, and I understand that a lot of people may not understand that. And honestly, that's the reason why it's the path least followed, because not everyone can do it. You'll be ridiculed for it. You know, you'll be told that the path you're taking is wrong, or the path you're taking is impossible. But if you can tell yourself, I will do what is impossible now, that I may live a life that is easy in the future, you've already won the battle. B, someone who has endurance, someone who can work diligently and consistently. If you can keep these 2 things in mind when you work, you will go far in life. This is the key to your success, working diligently and consistently on your part. The rest, the luck aspect, the opportunity aspect, is up to God. And in case you didn't understand what I meant by the term endurance, endurance is the ability to withstand long periods, or just periods in general, of unpleasantness, of pain, of utter despair. And I know that it does get hard in life. You know, I'm not trying to be blind. Life gets really hard. Life gets hard. But I want to tell you something. You're not defined by the way you get knocked down. You're not defined by the battles that come at you, the attacks that come at you. You're defined by how you get up. You're defined by how you respond to them. Nelson Mandela was not defined by 27 years in prison. He was defined by what he did after 27 years in prison. He could have come out of prison and chose to live his life normally, chose to be a normal person. But instead, he decided to push further. And that's the key. That's the secret to life. To be able to push further, even though it sucks, even though it hurts, even though it's uncomfortable. We have to keep going. 2020 was hard for everyone. The pandemic was difficult for everybody. I understand there's a lot of people that are reeling mentally for years and years forward, you know, because of this pandemic. You know, I understand that the damage will be long, and we all try to put a bandage over it like nothing happened. You know, if you look at the internet, we asking different questions now. Everything went from gold digger experiments and pranks to like I don't know, relationship dynamics, and people are asking, what does it mean to be masculine and feminine, and are there two genders? And people are asking so many deeper questions now because of the fact that this pandemic, this lockdown forced everyone to be in a place of pain, to be in a place of unpleasantness for a long time. And a lot of people were left reeling, completely reeling from this emotionally. I understand that. Only those who can keep on keeping on when there's no sign of progress at all are strong. When a farmer plants a seed, they won't see that crop for months. But the understanding is that the seed is planted. Having a clear and defined vision of your destination and having goals that define, like, if you're going towards that destination is key. I want you to understand that motivation alone cannot get you through life, especially the darkest parts of life. Having direction, you may have a whole list of goals, a whole plan, a whole map, but you don't have anything, any substance in you. That doesn't work out either, especially when things get hard. So what we have to do is, if we want to get to willpower, we have to combine our motivation with our direction. When we have our motivation, our vision, and our direction, which is our goals, combined, we can have our energy that we're putting in the right direction. We're putting our energy, our time, our effort in the right direction. We're putting all this motivation we have, all this in the right direction, right? We're going towards our goals. We're becoming better. And that's what willpower is to me. It's having that vision and walking towards it through goals, through direction. Motivation plus direction equals willpower. Having that little bit of motivation plus that little bit of direction will keep you going when things get dark, when things get tough. Keep you going. Well, they both can't live without each other. They're symbiotic. They have a relationship that depend on each other. Friedrich Nietzsche, the German 19th century philosopher, explored the concept of what he coined the will to power, in which the main idea surrounds a sort of irrational force found within all individuals that can be channeled towards different aspects of their life. One particular will to power that Friedrich Nietzsche constantly writes about is something called self-overcoming. Self-overcoming. The act of harnessing and directing one's inner force towards self-mastery and self-transformation, guided by the principle that your real self lies not deep within you, but high above you. Uncomfortable reality. Number 2, not everyone you meet should be your friend. Be kind to everyone, don't get me wrong, but just don't be friends with everyone. And when I refer to friends, I mean don't just bring anyone into your social circle, into your close circle. Be very selective with whom you allow into your social circle, especially your inner circle. Unfortunately, many people get stuck in non-ambitious, toxic circles that just help them stagnate. For some, they reduce themselves, imitating the negative behaviors of those around them. And this tends to lead most of the time from a place of low self-esteem, place of wanting to fit in and not feeling good enough on your own, standing on your own 2 feet, standing with your own opinion. Remember that low self-esteem, or self-esteem in general, refers to the way we see ourselves. That's literally what it is. It's the way we look at ourselves. So for someone to have a low self-esteem, it means that somebody or this person views themselves poorly, lowly. When we view ourselves lowly, we sometimes allow ourselves to abuse all types of vices in order to try and either gain some type of relief from the pain of our reality or try and lift up our self-view. We start to believe that more alcohol equals more confidence, more sex equals more validation, more whatever equals more whatever, more drugs equal more personal freedom and less anxiety and restriction. In reality, we're trying our best to escape ourselves or increase our self-view, the way we see ourselves. I remember speaking to a girl that came to me because she was really depressed. She was cutting herself. She was really like cut up all over. Her wrists were completely in tangles. And it was quite recent. You can tell like she had to go to hospital for this and everything. And I was asking her why were you doing this? And she was just like, I barely love myself. I can't love myself. No matter what, I just hate myself. I've tried having as much sex as possible to maybe supplement that. Maybe somebody else loving me will make me love me, but I just hate myself. And upon further investigation, I found out that her friends were actually encouraging this. They were saying, hey, look, more guys, more bodies, more whatever means you're free, you're liberated, you're sexually free, you're open. And look, at the end of the day, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Your friends can have their own opinions, but that's not what I'm here to discuss. I'm here to discuss how toxic or bad friends can perpetuate self-destructive behaviors. Friends that encourage you to use your vices in order to find freedom or to find happiness or to find love and self-acceptance aren't really friends. One of my hands down favorite books when it comes to the topic of self-esteem and just self-development comes from one of the most important psychologists to me, one of my favorite authors personally. His name is Nathaniel Brandon. I have a couple of his books over here, and I would really recommend if you check it out. He basically highlights something that's quite controversial in this book specifically over here. He highlights the fact that your self-esteem is connected to your friend group. Self-esteem directly controls various aspects of your life, whether you know it or not, from your relationships to your career prospects to your whatever it is. One of the laws that Nathaniel Brandon actually highlights is the fact that high self-esteem individuals attract high self-esteem individuals. If you're somebody that views yourself highly, you're going to attract other people that view themselves highly, and not highly in a prideful way, but you take the self-love and self-respect to a new level. You treat yourself well, you eat well, you talk to yourself well, you show yourself the right movies, you watch and you read books, you take care of your mind, you take care of your journey of self-development, you take care of yourself, because there's only one you, right? Once you can understand that principle, that's when people that will take care of you enter your life. That's when people that view themselves on top of that, the same way you view yourself, with self-love and self-respect come into your life. And that's when beautiful things happen. That's when cohesiveness can happen. That's when people can create a whole world together. That's how beautiful relationships start. You have to be careful where you meet your friends. Meeting your friends at certain places, in certain environments won't help you in the future. If you want to go somewhere and you meeting people in certain places that are opposite to the place you want to go, how is that going to help you? How are you going to get there? Nathaniel Brandon's theory of self-esteem, 1994, highlights that at a minimum, the moral virtues of honesty, trustworthiness, and fairness are relevant to someone's self-esteem. Humans are extremely social animals. We need the group to survive, both physically, psychologically, or emotionally. We live in families. We work in teams. We've built a lot of our society around our social behavior as humans. Society itself has been built around human nature, around human social nature. Therefore, you will lose so much about life if you don't grasp certain principles about your society and the way your social brain interacts and works with others. Your social circle has a massive impact on your personal development. And let me tell you how. As social mammals, we are extremely sensitive to the judgment of the group. As hunter-gatherers, upsetting the group meant no more social sleeping for warmth, no more group hunting for efficiency, no more shared resources, etc. So basically death. Thus, almost as some sort of psychological defense mechanism, your brain subtly, whether you know it or not, adopts the behaviors of those around you, that you may fit in, that you may be cohesive within this group, that you don't upset anyone or step on any toes. Groupthink tends to kick in as well. The active process of this is called social conditioning, i.e. teaching children how to be in society or how to behave or how to act or how to become a member of society. And society being a really big, complex social group, we can be conditioned consciously or subconsciously. We can be conditioned on a large societal scale or on a small friendship family type scale. Regardless, we have all sorts of social pressures acting on us at all times. When we leave the house, when we enter the boardroom or classroom, when we go to the gym, when we go on dates, whatever it is, we have all these social pressures acting on us. Michael Foucault was a philosopher and a psychologist, and he brought forth this principle of power. that was quite interesting. It actually changed the way everybody saw power previously. You see, before we understood power as a very top-down type thing. We understood the idea of power and strength as the strongest in society always makes it. The lion, the biggest, baddest, member of society is always at the top of the hierarchy, and that's how power is going down. But Michael Foucault flipped this on its head. Michael Foucault basically said that, hey, there are so many different forms of power. We have to understand power instead of a top-down dynamic, as in a hierarchy or in a pyramid. We have to understand the idea of power as oceans. And when we understand power as an ocean, we can understand that within the ocean of power, there are puddles and lakes and little smaller versions of power that act within each other. I cannot find my whiteboard markers, so this is going to be very weird to explain. So as you can see from this amazing diagram that I have before you, we have the idea of power that we've always understood, and we always thought of power as a top-down dynamic, very hierarchical. And we have Michael Foucault's idea of power, which is oceanic. It is more expansive. It is oceans of power that are less to do with top-down strength and more to do with something else. You see, Michael Foucault argued that we had multiple forces acting on us at all times. Before I leave the house, before I go to school, before I go to class, I have to take into account what I'm gonna wear. This is easy, but Michael Foucault discusses that it's not. You see, your brain goes through a couple things, a couple processes before you leave the house, before you even determine what you wear. I have my college's code of conduct and regulations acting on my decision of what to wear. I have my parents' expectation and society's expectation of what I should wear. I have my teacher and my colleagues' expectation of what I should wear. So there are multiple forces of power acting on my decision, acting on my choices as a human being. Uncomfortable truth number 3. Stop recklessly spending your 3 most important assets. And a lot of people get confused when I say your 3 most important assets. Like, well, AJ, I don't have any assets. You do. You have this. Okay, well, most people have at least 2 of these assets. I want you to always remember this. Always remember, your 3 most important assets is your time, your money, and your energy. Anytime either one of these things are spent, that should be accounted for. You should know exactly how it was spent, why it was spent, who it was spent with, or what it was spent on. You should understand exactly what it is. Be very careful of people that will waste either one of these assets or all 3 of these assets in your life. Ask yourself who in your life may be inadvertently spending a lot of these assets of yours. They might be making you spend a lot of your energy, a lot of your time, a lot of your money on them. I want you to understand that once audited, cut those people out of your life, because those people are time, money, energy wasters. These are the people that will come into your life and they will waste your time, your money, your energy because they want something from you, because they want to do something with you, whatever it is. That's fine, okay? They can have their own intention. They're not bad people for it or whatever. They may not be intentionally trying to harm you through taking your time, energy, money, whatever. One thing you need to understand is that these people aren't the people that are going to get you to your success. These people aren't the people you want in your circle or in your life. Truth number 4, life is so much bigger, so much more complex than you can ever imagine. Your problems, they seem big right now, but they're so small when it compares to the problems of life or the world around you. Sonder is the profound feeling of realizing that everyone, including strangers, has a life that's as complex as one's own, which they're constantly living despite one's personal lack of awareness of it. Despite the great technological advances of the West, AI, cryptocurrency, Netflix, and NFTs, suffering continues to rise, with one report stating that nearly 300 million Africans suffer from starvation. Now, to put that into perspective, Africa has a population of about 1.43 billion, and that should be about 21% of the population. That's over 1/5 of the continent that is starving. In Eastern DRC, children as young as 6 are routinely recruited or kidnapped by militias and taught to kill. It is estimated that children of 8 to 16 years old make up 60% of combatants in that region. 60%. In August of 2021, the Taliban officially took over Afghanistan. What followed was the immediate withdrawal of US troops and the creation of the Doha Agreement, bringing an end to the 2001 to 2021 war in Afghanistan. Even though leaders of the Taliban then reassured the international community that the rights of women and girls would be respected and that they would remain active, productive members of society, the reality has been different, to say the least. Nearly a year and a half later, and the situation has not changed. In fact, it's gotten worse, way worse. The Taliban has effectively barred women and girls from secondary schools and universities, banning them from pursuing education past 6th grade. In fact, the Taliban has completely excluded women and girls from public life, and with no female cabinet members, no women of power, no women in authority, the women of Afghanistan have no voice. On a large scale, when you consider the world and all the complexity within it and all the problems and all the pain, it puts all the problems that you're facing as an individual into perspective. And that's all I intend to do. I don't intend to personally attack anyone by saying this. I don't mean to minimize your problems or your suffering or your pain, because indeed that is personal. That is personal to you. But what I do intend to do is put it into perspective. As humans, we tend to focus on the negative in life. In fact, this is a cognitive bias we all have, in which we retain negative information way more than positive information. Sometimes when we're so busy looking at all the problems in our lives, we fail to even notice the blessings. And so we remain blinded to the solution to these problems. We may forget that we have access to certain things that others may not. We may have certain experiences that other people do not. Everything from having the breath of life to the ability to go on a walk without feeling, under danger, or without having the fear of your life being under threats of any kind. The ability to go to the mall or to go to the grocery store without any threats of bombings like a lot of Ukrainians are right now. This is all a blessing. And a lot of the time when we're in pain, we fail to even see this. We fail to even see beyond our pain because of the intensity in which it's going on right now in our lives, the intensity in which the pain, our problems are in our lives currently. But when you step up and you look above your pain and you look above your problems, you see that there's a lot of pain everywhere else. There's pain all over the world. I have problems. You have problems. She has problems. He has problems. How can we all come together, make each other feel good, and find solutions? That's what we should be asking. But instead, we live in a society, in a world where it's always, I want to get people to feel sorry for me. As many people as possible to feel sorry for me. I hope that we as the BUB Cool society or the BUB Cool group or the BUB Cool social movement can reject this. Can say, hey, look, no. Let's look beyond this and let's help each other. Let's heal with each other. And let's grow with each other. Let's not ask for sympathy or cookie points. Let's become better. This is easier said than done. Looking past your pain is very, very hard. There are a lot of people that spend their whole lives trying to do that, trying to look past their pain. There are people that go to therapy for years, but it's key because you cannot allow your pain, your problems to drive your life. Building up on this idea brought me back to a conversation that I had with my father, my dad, and he highlighted something that completely changed my life and my perspective. You see, I remember asking my father why he works so hard, why he pushes himself to the point of exhaustion because of how hard he works. And I'll never forget his response. I remember he responded this way. He said, and I'm speaking from my dad's perspective, whenever I'm at my lowest point, whenever I'm at my point where I'm physically sick, I'm puking or I'm crying or I'm bleeding or whatever it is because of how hard I'm working, because of what I'm putting into my ministry or because of what I'm putting into my business, when I get to these points, I look at Donald Trump. Confused, I looked at my dad and I asked him, why do you look at Donald Trump? And what he said was really, really key. He said this. He said, Donald Trump is a man in his 70s, running for president. At the time he was running for president, campaigning for presidency. That man is in his 70s and he's probably working extremely hard. Whenever I think of my lowest points, whenever I think of when I am pushing myself to the hardest, I think of this 70-year-old man that's probably working harder, and it gives me the motivation to keep going, to push myself. And his response stuck with me. You see, my friend, sometimes our problems may seem like that is all there is. Our problems, our pain. But there is more to life than that. There are bigger problems in the world. There are bigger problems than your problems. There's bigger pain than your pain. What I learned from that conversation with my father was that beyond your own experience, there's the experiences of others that may be more intense, greater than yours. You don't have to look at their experience and feel bad or whatever, but just acknowledge that. Step out of your own zone. Look outside of your own perspective for once. When we allow our pain and our problems to overcome us, we drive good people away from us. Good people get driven out of your life because of your negativity. Remember your 3 most important assets: time, money, and energy? Well, many of us put our time, our money, our energy into our problems, into our pain. We throw more money, more time, more energy, and guess what happens? Our treasure, that's where our heart is. That's where our treasure is. That's where our heart is. Our heart will be in our pain. We get consumed by our pain. For where your treasure is, there too your heart is. When you put your time, your money, your energy into your pain or your problems, you're not only putting your treasure there, but you're also putting your heart there. Your heart gets consumed. Now, your heart remains in your problems when you devote your time, your money, your energy to your problems. And what happens is you get blocked off or blinded to your solutions because your problems seem so big. Your problems become your world. Your problems become your reality. It affects your mood. It pushes the people around you or the people you want in your life away from you. Your problems take over. If you're offended by what I'm saying, if you're like, oh, AJ would never understand my problems, AJ, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You are so consumed by your own issues, by your own problem, you cannot even see your solution. You cannot even see the freedom. It'll be very difficult for you to even consider a solution. This, my friend, is when your problems seem bigger than God. When your problems seem bigger than a solution. They seem impossible. They seem as though you could never get out of it. Now, is it true that your problems are bigger than God? Is it true that your problems are impossible to solve? No. I can guarantee you that your problems, the ones that you think that you are uniquely facing, have been faced before. Whether by someone older than you, whether by someone in a book, whether by someone on a YouTube channel somewhere, your problem has been faced by one of the 8 billion people out there in the world. So instead of going out to look for the solution, we want to feel sorry for ourselves. And on top of that, we want the world to feel sorry for us. I understand it is personal. It is pain. I'm not trying to seem insensitive here. I'm not trying to come across as somebody who doesn't understand. But what I want you to understand is that when our hearts are at our problems, fear and anxiety have an easy entrance into our lives. They become drivers of our lives, drivers of our futures, drivers of our relationships, drivers of our academics, drivers of our whatever it is. They become drivers of us because we've allowed our hearts to be so controlled by our problems. We've given our lives to fear. We've given it up to anxiety. We've said, hey, take it. It's out. It's yours. Take it. It takes it. It accepts it. It wants it. This may even spill over and affect the lives of those around us. We're always negative. We're always in a bad mood because of the problems we're facing at work and Come on, guys, we have to realize that there are bigger things outside of this. Work issues or school issues or whatever it is, it hurts, it sucks, it is so bad for the moment. But there's so much more. There's so much more. This may even spill over and affect the lives of those around us. You don't want to be disturbed. You're in a bad mood because of the problems you're facing at work. And at the end of the day, you've got to realize that every time you do this, every time you allow your problems to take over your heart and to drive your life, you're pushing away people. Pushing away people. What's more is that since we allow fear and anxiety to be the main drivers of our lives, one problem often snowballs into another problem. So it goes from a, self-control issue to spending issues, from spending issues to debts, from debts to maybe marital or relationship issues. These issues just get bigger and bigger, and your problem becomes deeper and deeper. And so you dedicate more of your time, money, energy, your heart, your treasure into this problem. And that's just a cycle you need to break. It's a cycle you need to crash. So how do you stop yourself from getting wrapped up by your pain, by your problems? Number one, snap out of it. Rejoice always. Pray without ceasing. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Gratitude is hard to define. Is it a virtue? Is it an emotion? Is it a feeling? What is it? Robert Emmons and Michael McCullough defined gratitude as a two-step process. Number one, recognizing that someone has obtained a positive outcome. Number two, recognizing that there's an external source for this positive outcome. Make a list of the things in your life that satisfy both requirements. A good example of this could be the breath of life. There's nothing we actually did to deserve the breath of life. There's nothing we did to deserve to live, but we're alive. And that's beautiful. That's grace. That's grace that we have from God. That's a gift of God. Every single day that you live, there's nothing you do that prompts that. You go out, you go to work, you go to school, you live your life. There's nothing that you personally do. You live your life in the hands of God. Thank Him for that. Thank Him for taking care of you. Thank Him for that. I want you to keep that list very close. Research actually shows that gratitude isn't some cultural construct that we created as a society to make us feel good. This is actually biological. Gratitude has deep roots embedded in our biological history, our brains, and even our DNA. Many studies have examined the relationship between gratitude and mental and emotional well-being. A 1995 study found that when participants felt appreciation, an emotion part of gratitude, their heart rate variability, an indicator of good heart rates, improved. Other widely accepted physical benefits of gratitude include sleeping better. We know that people sleep much better and have better periods of deep sleep or longer periods of deep sleep when they're more grateful. Researchers have also observed decreased levels of anxiety and depression. A study of patients who had previously had heart attacks or chest pains found that patients who had higher levels of optimism and gratitude for their lives 2 weeks after their cardiac events also reported improvements in both emotional and physical well-being 6 months later. So being grateful for your life has helped people recover faster. Being grateful for your life has helped people sleep better. Being grateful for your life has reduced levels of anxiety. Just ask yourself, how much of your problems would be solved right now if you just had a little bit better sleep, or if your anxiety levels were a bit lower? Number two, step out of your own head by helping others. Sometimes the easiest way to feel happier is by making someone else happier. Go out and give to others. Give to people that you know won't be able to give back to you. Go and spend that same time, money, and energy that you were spending on your problems, giving, help to people like orphans or homeless people or people that actually need your help. Remember, money is not the only resource you have to give. Time and energy are also there for you. Give your time and your energy as well. Volunteer. Volunteer at a soup kitchen. Volunteer to clean up the park. Do something to help. On a smaller scale, focus on making someone's day better. Just make someone smile. Whether it's your family, your friends, just make someone's day a little less heavy. This could be as simple as paying them a compliment, aka giving good emotions. This could be spending time with them or listening to their problems, like actually listening and not just waiting for your turn to speak. Helping others is the first step to helping yourself. We're at the fifth and the final uncomfortable truth about reality, about the world, about life, whatever you want to call it. The fifth and final one that you need to take down. Never fully reveal your cards. Never fully reveal all your cards. Why are you doing that? Why are you showing the world your cards? And this is what I mean. If you know anything about me, then you know that I'm a massive fan of Robert Greene and I love his books. This book in particular, The 48 Laws of Power, has been banned from multiple schools and prisons for the information inside it. But getting back to the point, Robert Greene highlights two particular laws in this book over here that are extremely critical to this particular truth that we're discussing right now. Law number 3, conceal your intentions. And law number 4, Always say less than necessary. I've branded these laws into my brain constantly over and over with every time I reread this book. So let's break this down law by law. Conceal your intentions. What do I mean, or what does it mean to conceal your intentions? Most people are like open books. They say what they feel, blurt out their opinions at every opportunity, and constantly reveal their plans and intentions. What the powerful person does is they learn how to listen, how to keep quiet and understand the intentions and the plans of others, or I'm gonna say your enemy because that's mostly the context or whatever that I'm trying to understand here. But you understanding the plans and the intentions of the people that are external to your enemy. So why do people do this? Why do people chat? Why do people openly reveal their plans and their intentions? It's only natural that being the social animals we are, we have that inclination, that feeling to share our plans for the future and our feelings on certain things, our ideas. I mean, we live in a world where it incentivizes us to do that through social media, apps like Twitter or Instagram, allowing you to do that, to share your opinion, or YouTube, to share your opinion in front of thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. The second reason people do this is from a place of naivety. From being naive to the people out there that want to hurt you, the wolves out there that want to use your words against you. There are people out there that are looking for the opportunity to use your words, to take what you say out of context, especially if you're a public figure or whatever. Your job calls you to be above others, or to work in a position where you control others, or you work with others, with a lot of other people. You have to understand that there's certain people out there that are out to get you, in the sense that they will look for ways to attack you. They'll look for any opportunity they can. If it's through your words, they will use your words. Many fall into the belief that just by blurting out their opinions, they're just being honest, they're being themselves. But you have to understand that sometimes by revealing all your cards, by revealing all your plans and your intentions and your opinions and your thoughts and everything just like that, you're opening yourself up to either say something stupid, right? Say something that's dumb and unfounded, or B, reveal your own intentions and plans. And that leads us to the next law. Law number 4, always say less than necessary. When you're trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear, the less in control of yourself you appear as well. Even if you're saying something banal, it'll seem original if you make it vague, open-ended, and sphinx-like. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. And I'm not trying to be rude here, but Robert Greene is being honest. A lot of people talk themselves into traps. In many ways, this game of power, whether it's power in the workplace or political power or whatever it is a game of appearances. When you say less than necessary, you appear greater and much more powerful. It is even more damaging for a minister to say foolish things than to do them. Listen extremely closely. Humans are machines of perception and interpretation. We learn things through seeing information and processing, interpreting that data, that information we've been exposed to. That's how we learn. The average person can't stand things that they can't read, control, or notice patterns in. In fact, this distinct lack of control can often lead to a sort of anxiety within those people. They have to know what you're thinking. They have to know what you're planning. There has to be some type of pattern in the way you behave. That's what your enemy, that's what the people out there, the people that are on the opposite side of your team are constantly thinking. They're looking for ways to analyze you. Because that's rule number 1. Understand your enemy. Rule number 1 in warfare, always understand your enemy. So adhering to that rule, your enemy is constantly going to be trying to understand you. Don't give them the satisfaction. When you carefully control what you reveal and what you don't, they cannot pierce your intentions. You can literally control the way they see you. You can control the way you're perceived by others. I'm giving you the key to controlling the way you're perceived by others. I understand that this is a bit of an advanced topic, so let me try and backtrace. Let me try and break it down for you. Try going out, meeting someone new, and in conversation with them, halfway through, maybe you're in conversation, you were having a great conversation with them, back and forth. Cut down on how much you talk. In fact, cut it completely.
cut it down to like 90 to like from 90% of what you were saying, or 100% you're talking, to 10%. Now it's 10% you talking and 90% them. Let's see how it is. Let's see what happens. Most of the time, you'll see how they will interject more. They will start adding more into the conversation because they're trying to read you. They're trying to see what happened. They're trying to read your patterns. When you throw certain off patterns like that halfway through conversation, like you change the dynamic of the conversation and they have to talk, that's hard for someone. That scrambles a person's understanding. By saying less, you've kind of disturbed the way someone else perceives you, right? You've kind of changed it. Also, when you say less, you also have less of a chance of saying something dumb or offensive. Learn this lesson once. Words are like bullets. Once they leave the chamber, once they come out, they can't come back in. That's exactly why the Bible speaks of the power of the tongue cutting as sharp as a knife, because of how powerful words can be. When dealing with certain people, your words, what you say, how you say it is very, very key, very important. And the reason I say that it's key to control your words is because you don't know who you're dealing with. Be sensitive with who you're dealing with, in whether it's in business, whether it's in relationships, whatever aspect of your life. Know who you're dealing with. Person number one may use your words against you, may look for traps within your own words. Person number two may incorrectly interpret what you're trying to say. Person number two may take it as an offense, what you're saying to them. I mean, remember that countless studies have found that 60 to 70% of our communication as human beings is nonverbal. If somebody is offended by your nonverbal communication, you can't really control that. Be very selective with who you deal with. Be careful with who you deal with. Be sensitive to these things. You may have a brash and upfront and honest character, but the person you're dealing with, they don't know that. They've never met you before. They don't understand that. They may not understand that. So keep in mind that your words matter. Everything you say has a sort of root attached to it. If it goes out there and it's a bad root or a bad seed being planted in the hearts of someone else, you may plant a seed of anger or hatred or whatever against you, and you don't even know it. You go to sleep at night, someone is hurt, someone's angry against you. You may go to sleep at night and you spread misinformation by being wrong, blatantly wrong, by saying something foolish. I'm not saying that you should worry about every single person that comes into your life that might get offended. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're in a position where you're a leader, where you're a boss, where you're somebody that has to be the person that sees beyond the situation, you need to understand that dealing with specific people calls for specific actions. You cannot reveal certain things, you cannot say certain things without thinking, without understanding this person, without doing certain checks mentally, thinking critically, or whatever it is. And in this age of TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, where we are constantly called to shout and give our opinions and say more than we actually really believe or mean or feel, it may be hard to take back the words that we say out there in the world. Countless CEOs have lost their positions because of tweets they've made. Countless politicians have felt scrutiny because of things they've said or done in their past, things that are cherry-picked and utilized by their opponents. If you're in a position where you have opponents, and I know there are a lot of people in the BUBQ audience that are people in positions of power, like they're actual CEOs that listen to my videos. For some reason, I don't know why you watch my video. Thank you for that. Please subscribe. But there's CEOs that watch my videos, politicians that watch my videos, people that actually lead other people. If you're leading someone else, you're leading your small business, you're leading your group of classmates, whatever, you need to understand that you have to know who you're dealing with, know what you're saying, be very cognizant of what you're saying at all times. Never start moving your own lips and teeth before the subordinates do. The longer I keep quiet, the sooner others move their lips and teeth. As soon as they move their lips and teeth, I can thereby understand their real intentions. If the sovereign is not mysterious, the ministers will find opportunity to take and take. Han Pei Su, Chinese philosopher. Well, my friend, you've made it to the end of this video. If you found any value in this video whatsoever, please go down and click like and subscribe, and make sure you comment with your thoughts, your opinions. I really want to hear it down below, and I just want to hear what you think. Just talk to me. I want to hear from you guys. I make sure that I always read the comments. I'll leave a like, I'll leave some sort of reply to make sure that you guys know that I read the comments. And that's all for me. Have a really, really great day.